All right, welcome everybody to the first episode of MINIGAME. I'm here, I'm Alex, and with me is Inu.
Yo, what's going on? I am Eno.
I didn't realize you changed your name to Eno, but that's fine. Anyway, so before we begin, I will explain something. So MINIGAME has been a logo on the channel art for a while now, and we planned to make this a podcast, but um, honestly, we're just gonna use this for any discussion videos we make instead of podcasts because podcasts would kind of force us to do one a week, which we can't commit to. Any of us, we can barely commit to actually playing games. So whenever there's a
Yeah,
discussion video out, it's gonna be part of like the mini game series. So don't expect one a week. It's not gonna happen.
but we might end up reaching podcast levels of length. Like, you might be sitting here listening to us to discussing things for up to 2 hours with lots of jokes and back and forth and, you know,
Yeah,
whatever we feel like talking about.
don't expect that today, but it could happen. It could happen. But today we're just gonna, right now there's nothing, there's no background music for us, but I'm gonna add some in post so that it's not like there's something in the background. Um, Hopefully not what's happening outside my room because my dad's watching TV and it's pretty loud. Um, but yeah, so we're gonna talk about the expansion pass, DLC, the new mons and the Galarian forms that they've shown, and maybe a little bit about the Mystery Dungeon GX.
So before we get into this, I just want to add a few things. One, if we do get to the mystery dungeon, I barely dabbled in the games, but they're fun. They're all right. It's a nice side series. And two, with the whole DLC thing, before we get talking about it, I just want to give my opinion on the controversy because I know that it's a topic people have been kind of back and forth with, and I personally see nothing wrong with Game Freak doing this. And for those saying they should have waited until they had a complete game, Sword and Shield were complete games. You just weren't happy with them.
I have nothing else to add. That is pretty much on point with everything that I feel as well. So, actually, you know what? We'll start with the Mystery Dungeon games because the demo is really quick. So we'll just mention it really quick before we get on. We'll do like they did um in their direct, which is start off with that and then move on. So I'm just gonna go ahead and start by saying that I played the demo. I completed the demo. I never played the originals of these games because, quite frankly, the Mystery Dungeon series has never interested me until Super, um, which I bought, played, beat, loved it. I know that you played it a little bit, but I think you.
I got stuck because I wasn't too familiar with the format of the games, and I was under leveled, and it was, oh, you're running away from the village, and I just happened to be a Turtwig, and we're on an area filled with flying type Pokemon,
See,
and
this is
Mudkip wasn't doing anything, so I was just stuck.
yeah. See, this is why you don't pick shit Pokemon. Um, but as for the demo, love the art style. I know that in the reaction video that we made for the direct, I said I didn't like it, but after like seeing it in my
It
Switch,
grew on you.
it yeah, I like the art style. Um, this from what I've played, it's the quintessential mystery dungeon formula. You just go through dungeons. You know, you could go through dungeons just spamming the A button, killing everything, and you'll do just fine. But you can also, you know, when I played the demo, I was a Charmander, my partner was a Skitty, and everything worked out great. Uh,
And, you know, kind of a tangent, but it does go with the whole mystery dungeon thing. When the first mystery dungeon games came out, they had that, I think it was like an hour long special where the kid wakes up as the Squirtle, and the only mission is him saving Pikachu and the Pichus, but I wish they had continued that anime. I think that would have really helped sell the games.
They did.
They did?
Yeah,
I've only ever seen that one episode. I didn't know there was more.
there are more.
Oh wow, I gotta look those up now. But I've actually played Mystery Dungeon Red a little bit, and by a little bit, I mean I constantly reset the game because every time I took that personality test at the beginning, it made me a Charmander, and I did not want to be a Charmander.
Well, good news. In this one you can take the personality test. The personality test gave me a Machop, and I didn't like it, so I chose my own character.
All right, so like Super Mystery Dungeon lets you do.
Yeah.
All right, that's
ironically enough, in Super Mystery Dungeon, I also picked Charmander. Listen, a lot of people think it's overrated. I know you personally don't like it. I personally love Charmander, Charizard. That line is, for me, the best Kanto starter line, followed by the Bulbasaur line, and then the Squirtle line is not even on. It's like so low, it's not even on the scale anymore. But yeah, so me getting a Charmander is my ideal scenario. But yeah, anyways, so I played it. I finished the demo. It was like not even 2 hours. It was like super short, but it was like as short as it is, it's a good little like taste of what the series is about, and
a good way to know if you let you know if you want to spend your money on it or not.
So yeah, there are quality of life upgrades, not as big as like the remake of Link's Awakening on the Switch, but you know, things that weren't possible in the originals that are now possible have been updated to be that. And I'm not just talking about mega evolutions. I'm talking about like there have been significant, well, not significant, but like things are not. There are some things that are changed to a better system, so to speak.
Yeah, I haven't checked it out yet, but I do plan on checking out the demo, so I'll take your word on all of that stuff.
And also, I have nothing else to add. That's about it. But it's a fun. If you enjoy that type of game, it's pretty fun. And
Yeah,
I might be picking it up. I don't know yet.
If you're into dungeon crawlers and you like Pokemon, it's a decent mix of the two. And you know the demo, your save file carries over, as the direct said. So if you enjoy the demo, at least you don't have to start completely over from the beginning.
That's not a problem. With how short the demo is, you could easily start over from the beginning, and it's not going to make much of a difference.
Yeah, but you know, there's always going to be that one person who doesn't want to.
Yeah, there's always going to be people who complain and people who bitch, but I don't pay attention to those people. So, if you don't mind, Inu, we're going to move along.
I'm fine with that.
We said what we had to say about Mystery Dungeon, and now we're going to move along to the expansion passes. Personally, I feel like this is a great idea. I've seen a lot of people complain about price, which, fun fact, most of the time, I'd say like maybe 95% of the time that I see someone like on social media complaining about the price, they always mention it's $60, which is a clear indication that they are American.
Yeah.
Because the only place in the world where it's $60, not like saying like, oh, like $60, but he could mean euros. I mean, no, he's saying $60, which means they're most likely American.
And yeah, because if it was euros, they'd probably be saying something like 55 or what. I don't know the conversion rate.
Well, they would be saying euros or pounds.
Yeah, that too.
But what's funny is that most of those people were bitching about paying an extra $30, and yet me for one game in Canada plus tax comes out to like $92. So already off the bat, I bought a game that you paid $60 for, that I paid $90 for conversion rate, because of conversion rate, and because of that same reason, I pre-bought the pre-purchased the DLC, and it cost me around $45. So
yep.
to those people who are bitching about $90, I spent $130 on this game, and I also bought both copies of Sword and Shield. I only bought the DLC for Shield, but I also bought Sword on. So that's $180 that I spent on two games that a small percentage of people, I don't want to throw shade on anybody, but I will. The idiots view as incomplete while having not played a single second of the game.
Yeah, and let's just think about it this way: like the expansion, yes, would we have liked cheaper or free? Of course, but what you're getting, you've got the Isle of Armor, which has a small little story to it. I can't remember if the Crown of Tundra has any story
Yes,
involved
it does.
in it.
It does.
Yeah, but you're not only getting this extra story, but you're getting this extra area, which is an expanded wild area. And I know everyone was complaining about how the wild area wasn't diverse enough. And you're getting new Pokemon, new forms, and all these returning Pokemon that you've been asking for constantly, even spamming people in their personal accounts because, oh, they took out my not Mr. Mime, but what's something that's returning? Oh, I wasn't able to use my Horsey.
I got a shiny Seadra and let's go. So when I heard that didn't make the cut, a part of me was like sad because I wanted to see that, in this game. But the worst part about it is, and after when we get back to actually talking about the, I would like it if we could stop mentioning the idiots, because that's not what this video is about. But the worst part about it is all these people are bitching about the price and they're putting Pokemon behind a paywall. You don't need the DLC to have those Pokemon. You can transfer them from home when it comes out. It'll be out by the time these come out. So you can transfer those 100 Pokemon, the first 100 batch of Pokemon in June, you can transfer them from home. And then in fall, we'll be able to transfer the other 100. And on top of that, if you don't need the DLC to take part in max raid battles from the DLC. So if your friend has the DLC and you don't, and he's doing, I don't know, a Garchomp raid, you can jump in on that, do the raid, and catch the Garchomp in the game. So you don't need to pay a goddamn fucking penny for the DLC.
Most likely,
home will be
that's the cool
$5
thing about it.
Most likely, home will be $5 a year, like Bank was, or is.
Yeah, and
which is not a lot.
And I could see them upping the price maybe to $10 because there are a few extra features. Like people are suspecting that home is where the GTS is going to take place now, which honestly I don't want the price to go up, but $10 a year still wouldn't be that bad of a thing to have to pay.
Listen, if you're like a kid, right, who doesn't have a job, who's not old enough to have a job, who only has who only gets money at like their birthday or their Christmas or whatever, you could go up to your parents and be like, hey, if I start mowing the lawn, would you give me like $10 every time I do it, or something like that? Go around from door to door asking your neighbors for their empty cans and bottles, and then going to exchange those for the money. And just doing something like that, a little thing like that doesn't take a lot of time, and that you'll earn money from, will not only make you feel better, one, because you'll be earning the money, and two, you'll be able to make that $5-10 in no time. Maybe even from now until June, you'll be able to make $30, and you'll be able to afford the DLC, so you won't need to, hope and pray that, you get some of those raids showing up in your nearby, or that you'll have to hope that your friend will trade over his DLC exclusive mons so that you can have them in your Pokedex or whatever fucking bullshit. But
Alright, and
making $30, making $10, making $5, it's so easy ways that money should not be an issue.
Yeah, and you know what? I just, because I could see this argument going out, so I'm just going to toss this straw man out into the fire while we're still on the topic. Let's say that the person saying that it's like, well, we shouldn't have to pay for home because we're paying for Switch Online subscription. Let's say home is $10. Home and the Switch Online, that would be $35 a year for, your Americans, and that's still cheaper than PlayStation and Xbox, making you pay $60 a year for their subscriptions to their online services. So, if you're willing to pay for a $60 subscription, don't be complaining because Nintendo wants you to pay a $35 subscription.
And also, another side note, while you may need the Switch Online, that's not Game Freak, so you can't put that on them. I've seen people say that you have to have Switch Online, so that's a paywall. That's not on Game Freak. That is Nintendo's doing. Nintendo is charging you $20 a year for Switch Online, not Game Freak. Game Freak isn't seeing a dime of that Switch Online money, so it's not on them. So if you're bitching about needing to Switch Online, you're bitching to the wrong crowds and about the wrong thing.
All right. So now that we've gotten all of our straw man rants out of the way, and
Yes.
we told people their ways that they can get the money for these types of things and why we feel that they shouldn't be complaining, let's get on to what this is actually about.
Yes. So now, if you've made it this far, which I hope you have, here's the fun part.
Okay, well, actually, right before the fun part, let us know how you feel about our arguments. Do you agree with us? Do you disagree? Why do you disagree? Because I want to know.
Yeah. Let us know in the comments below. Don't come in our comment section with that bring back to National Dex bullshit or Game Freak Glide or anything like that.
Like, no Game Freak Glide, no Dexit.
You will be blocked.
Like,
we have heard everything. We understand your point of view, and we also think your point of view is fucking stupid.
If you have valid arguments against Game Freak and Nintendo doing this, please let us hear your valid arguments instead of just spamming Dexit, bring back the National Dex, Game Freak Glide. Like, we don't want to hear your social media pandering. We want to hear your personal feels on these things. Now back to the fun stuff.
Now back to the fun stuff. All right, so we're gonna talk about the expansion fast. The expansion fast. The expansion fast first.
Talk about the expansion fast. All right, we got 30 seconds on the clock. Go. I like it. There's the Isle of Armor, the Tundra Crown. Boom. I think that there's still time left over. Your turn.
All right. So what I like the most out of this. Personally, I don't like this Pokemon.
We're talking about the big brain rabbit.
No, I've gone on record before saying that I hate this Pokemon and its evolutions. When Pokemon Go first came out, the first egg I hatched was this Pokemon, and I was disappointed. But I like the concept of what Game Freak's doing, and I hope they do it with more of them. But I'm talking about the Slowpoke.
All right.
I like how it was, here's a direct, there's DLC, and here's a little taste of it. Galarian Slowpoke is coming in a free update that you can update right away.
I still need to do that update because I fell asleep after that and forgot about it.
I like that they're doing that because it's like, the DLC's coming and we want to build hype for it, so we're going to give you a little piece of it. And then, honestly, if I were Game Freak, what I would do after that is, there's going to be, since there's DLC and there's new mons coming in and new Galarian forms and completely new mons, they're going to have those, they're probably going to have those trailers every month like they usually do for new games. So, me personally, what I would do is every time there's a trailer, I would release one new mon, that has a special evolution condition like the Slowpoke, so that you can see the Galar form of or the new mon that's the baby form or the first stage, and you can catch it and find out all about it in the game. But you need the DLC to get the evolutions, or at least you need to know someone who has a DLC who can trade you the items.
All right, and
so I hope
on the topic is
I hope they do that. That's
and on the topic of Slowpoke, I honestly really like the design of the Galarian Slowpoke.
It's the same thing. It's just its head and its tail are yellow.
Yeah, and that's the thing that I like about it, because those are the areas where in the lore of the game, but not the actual games, that's where the Slowpoke bites it for it to evolve. Bites the tail, you got a Slowpoke. Bite the head while there's a King's Rock, you get a Slowking. And
There's
it
no,
just.
there's no King's Rock involved. It's just
Well, no, I'm talking about like with the regular evolutions.
yeah, there's no King's Rock involved. It's just bite the head and it becomes a crown.
Well, no, it's got to wear the King's Rock. Like, that was one of the things that they specifically showed in the anime as well.
Yeah, that's the anime, but
Yeah, but you have to trade Slowpoke while wearing the King's Rock for the Slowking. But another thing I like about it is because of the yellow, it looks like the parts where it's supposed to be bitten or lathered in honey.
do? Yes. I'm an idiot. I have always genned a Slowking, so I never, like, I knew how it evolved, but it never, like, clicked to me that it evolved with the King's Rock, but it does. Yes, you're right.
Yeah, Slowpoke and Poliwhirl. I think those are the only things that evolve with the King's Rock.
No, it's just Slowtoad, and Poliwhirl.
Yep. Alright, so yeah, Slowpoke, I like the design, and it's a very simple change. I think that's what draws me to it the most, is that it's a simple change. It's not this, complete 180 from the original design. It's just very seldomly switched between the regions.
But there is a reason for that, because Game Freak is a very lore heavy company. They really like going into the lore of things, and even if it's just like extra stuff if you're just playing Pokemon to like competitively battle, you won't ever you don't even need to care about the lore. But like, they really go like, there's a reason for everything that they do, and if you go on the expansion pass Galarian forums page on Cerebi, it tells you that the Slowpoke of the Galar region used to eat the seeds of a certain plant that grew in their habitat. These seeds were in fact Galarica seeds, used to this day as an essential spice for cooking in the Galar region. The Slowpoke in Galar built up particles of this spice in their bodies over several generations,
They're spicy Slowpoke.
eventually gaining the unique appearance and behavior they are known for today. So that's why there's the yellow head and the yellow tail. Galarian Slowpoke spend their days wallowing on seashores and riverbanks without thinking about anything in particular. Occasionally they might get a very sharp look in their eyes, but they will soon revert to their zoned out expression, as every Slowpoke does. It's thought that this behavior is caused by the accumulated Galarica particles stimulating Galarian Slowpoke's brain, resulting in it thinking of something tremendous, only for the Galarian Slowpoke to immediately forget what it has just thought of. Galarian Slowpoke can evolve into Galarian Slowbro. If an item that can be found on the Isle of Armor is used, it can evolve into Galarian Slowking instead if an item that can be found on the Crown Tundra is used. So it ate seeds from the Galar region to the point where it changed its physical appearance and the way that its body works, giving it the yellow head and the yellow tail. And it's even stupider than regular Slowpoke.
Another thing about it, though, they mentioned that it was, kind of like a spicy fruit, and it absorbed some of the flavoring and stuff like that. So I wonder how Galarian Slowpoke tail tastes, because the original Slowpoke tail is a sweet treat, but this is a sweet and spicy Slowpoke.
I wouldn't be surprised if they added in, like, because there's still
the Galarian Slowpoke tail when you're making curry.
Yeah, because there's still a lot more that we don't know about this DLC that we're going to find out probably with the months to come, or when it
we're probably
out.
going to be able to eat that berry mentioned in the lore. We're probably going to get that as a cooking ingredient.
Pretty sure Galarica seeds are already a cooking ingredient.
I don't know. I don't do the cooking.
Neither do I. So if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong, and I really don't care. But I would be willing to bet that we're gonna get Slowpoke tails as a curry ingredient. But with that, I think we've said all we could about the Slowpoke.
Yeah, I can't think of anything else to say about Slowpoke right now.
The only thing that's weird to me is how it mentions it living on beaches and riverbanks, and yet they removed the water type. It's a pure psychic type, sort of water psychic like a regular Slowpoke. Although that's not unheard of with regional variants. You know how they removed the psychic type for what's his face, Executor, and then gave it the dragon type, so it evolves.
Yeah.
Its primary type stays the same through the evolution in the Alola region, but it becomes a dragon type. Or I think there is one that just removes the secondary typing. I could be wrong.
I feel like there is one, but I just can't think of it right now. I'd have to look back through the Galarian forms and the
Oh, we got time.
Alolan forms.
Alright. I'm gonna look through it right now. We're going to see.
Oh, let's see now.
Sun and Moon and Alola form Pokemon. Alright, so Rattata and Raticate got a type added. Raichu got a type added. Sandshrew, Sandslash, Vulpix, and Ninetales. Completely different types. Diglett had a type added. Meowth, Persian, different types. Geodude had a type changed. Mike had a type added. Had a type added, different type. Alright, so it wasn't in Alolan forms, didn't have any.
Yeah, Galarian types. Meowth had its type changed. Ponyta that had its type changed. Slowpoke lost the water type. Farfetch type changed. Wheezing type added. Mr. Mime. Mr. Mime's the same. Ice Psychic. Oh no, it wasn't Ice before. So Ice added.
It was Fairy Psychic Fairy.
Yeah. Corsola type change. Zigzagoon type
Oh,
added. Darumaka type changed.
They've
Yamask type added.
They've added types to it, but they've never just Slowpoke is the first time they have just straight up removed one of the types and kept only one of them.
Oh, you know what? I think I know what we were thinking about. Mega Aggron loses Rock and becomes pure Steel.
Well, I know about that, but that doesn't really count as a regional variant.
No, I'm saying I think that's where we got the idea that there might be a regional variant that happens with, because it happened with one of the Megas.
Maybe. So let's move on to the evolutions of this piece of shit. We see a little bit of Slowbro. Most importantly, a Slowbro without a shoulder on its tail.
And we can tell that it is a Slowbro because it doesn't have the little neck collar of a Slowking.
Yes, it's also on 2 legs and has the belly, which Slowpoke does not have, so it's not just a Slowpoke that's standing. It's got blue forearms and a purple forearms, and a purple where the yellow is on Slowpoke turns into purple on Slowbro, which means that most likely the lore will be that in the Galar region, instead of using a Shelder biting its tail to evolve, it evolves with some kind of item. Obviously, we have that confirmed that the item will be available in the first DLC. But I'm curious to find out what it is lore-wise, because it's, as you said before we started recording this, it is weird to see it without a Slowpoke on its tail. And if Mega Evolution ever comes back, because it doesn't have a Slowpoke on its tail in its Galarian form, which this is actually the first time, I'm pretty sure the first time that a Galarian original variant of a Pokemon that has a Mega Evolution has been done. Because there were no Pokemon that had Mega Evolutions, no regional variants that came from Mega Evolvable Pokemon in Gen 7, and I'm pretty sure none of the Galar ones can Mega Evolve.
Nope, not that I'm seeing. No.
So if Mega Evolution just does come back to the franchise at some point, either they will create a brand new design for Galarian Slowbro Mega, or they'll say that because it doesn't have the Shelder, it has its own evolution item, it can't Mega Evolve. Because I don't see a way, if it still had the Shelder but the Shelder looked different, I could see them pulling it off. Or maybe because they removed Mega Evolution in this game, they haven't even thought about how
it would affect it.
Yeah, But
Yeah,
it's weird to see it without a tail. I'm curious to see the rest of it. Like I said before, I don't like this Pokemon. I've already bred Slowpokes. I actually got a shiny one. Uh, but I've bred competitive Slowpokes with the intention of evolving and having a Slowbro and a Slowking competitively. I will try them out, but I already know going in that I don't like the Mon, so I probably won't like using it that much. But I will try it. I try every single Mon, every single regional variant.
yeah.
There's still some I have yet to try, like Weezing, but you know, Regigigas is coming back, so you know, I've seen a lot of people talking about. We'll get more to it when we talk about the returning Pokemon, but I'm excited for the returning Pokemon.
So with the Slowbro, we know that an item is needed, and I like how it was just so much out of frame that we can't see its head, and the lore talked about it, getting sudden ideas and then forgetting them. I'm wondering if both Slowking and Slowbro are going to have something on its head based on the items.
It could be. It could be. Or
I'm kind of hoping,
since it's only showing its right side, maybe it's like its left arm has like a huge thing on it, kind of like a dual disc thing. But instead
I
of
was
playing
thinking that
Yu-Gi-Oh,
too.
it's like a blade or some shit, and it becomes psychic fighting.
Yeah, that'd be pretty interesting. Like, what the item still resembles like the Slowpoke shell, and it just has this massive Slowpoke gauntlet, and it's a psychic fighting type.
It could be, or it could stay pure psychic, and I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, there's way too many things to speculate on. We have no information.
Let's move on to Slowking, who has a little bit more of its body revealed. And you can see that
it's got a bigger cape around its body.
Its clown shit is now a cape, and I've interpreted it as that small piece of white you see between the scribble lines as being a shoulder eye. But if Slowbro doesn't need shoulder anymore, I don't think they're gonna make Slowking need a shoulder anymore. So it's probably just a big ass crown.
Or some sort of mask.
Or some sort of mask.
I like how this Slowking looks kind of more like a Gothic King. Like it's got the darker colors, so I'm hoping it might be a Psychic Dark type.
It could be a Psychic Dark type. It could be. I was gonna say its evolution item is found in the Crown Tundra, which is like the ice place. So it could be Psychic Ice, but I don't think it's Psychic Ice based on the design.
Yeah, if it ends up being an ice type, I'll be rather surprised, actually.
Well, who knows? Maybe that crown is like the bottom is like shell, and then there's like a big ice like spike coming out of it. We don't know.
Possibly.
We don't see it. You can see a little bit of the top, which doesn't look anything like ice. So I'm, at this point we're just spitballing here, but I'll be surprised if it's that. I don't think it's gonna be that, but
I kind of hope that Slowbro and Slowking are some of the first ones revealed, just since we already have the Slowpoke.
Maybe. I'm hoping that they release, not like, I don't care about the older mons being released in June and like that. I'm fine with, but I'm hoping that they release give like little teasers with like new like first stage Galarian forms. Like I said before, with like we're in January right now and they revealed it. So there's February, March, April, May, and then June. So there's 4 months. So I'm hoping they give us 4 trailers, and at the end of each trailer they give us like a little something that you can only like a Pokemon that you can only evolve in the DLC, or like little story bits. Like each month they update it a little bit. They give out a free update that'll give us a little bit of story based on the DLC, and then after that DLC comes out, that they keep doing that until the second part of the DLC comes out.
Yeah, then
just because Galarian Slowpoke is, you know, if you look at the DLC, like the images that they showed of like the DLC region, basically, you know, the first one is like a beach region, so you know that Galarian Slowpoke is going to be catchable in that region. It may not be catchable in the other, but it's fine because it's catchable in the first one.
Yeah.
So, you know, hopefully they'll give us little like tastes and like trailers and like maybe like little like oh, well, here's a Pokemon, or here's an item that you'll need to evolve a Pokemon or something like that. You know, just like little, because it's when there's a new game, it's easy to just put out a trailer and then be like, oh, here's a trailer showcasing a few mons, maybe a few characters, go wild. But like, we actually have the games, and they've shown us that it's possible for them to put out a free update. That doesn't take like forever to download, a few seconds, and it gives us a new mon that's only catchable in that new DLC that's coming in 4 months.
Yeah, you know, but speaking of the DLC, since it's not one that has been revealed, I'm just gonna bring it in right here because it kind of fits. But you know, they haven't revealed Sandshrew as a returning Pokemon, so it'd be kind of cool if in the Crown of Tundra they had a Lowland Sandshrew and Sandslash available, because it's an icy area and it's an ice type.
Could be.
Just, I think that'd be kind of cool to see some of the.
If they did that though, then I think they'd have to put in Alolan Vulpix and Ninetales, even though Vulpix and Ninetales are available in the main game.
Yeah,
and
well, I mean,
the data for the Alolans is in the main game.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. We know at least the Lowlands will be transferable because it's the same Pokemon, so.
Yeah.
It's just a wonder of what else they're going to add, because I'm pretty sure that what they've shown us so far is not all that we're going to get in each DLC.
And also, with these DLCs and the bit of story that they have, it gives me kind of hope that they'll. Like, I was never one to bitch about this, but I know a lot of people. I know a lot of people have bitched about it, about how mythicals have kind of lost their luster over the years, because they used to all have like a little bit of story in the games, instead of just here's a code, get your mythical.
Yeah, like, as example, oh, here's the old sea chart, and Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald, take it to your dad, and he's like, oh, I know what this is, and then he takes it to the boat, and then you sail to the island to catch Mew. Like, they had little story events with them.
Yeah, but recently it's just been like, oh, here's your Pokemon, which I don't mind, honestly, because...
I don't mind it, no, but I do kind of miss the stories. I understand people complain about that, so these little DLCs...
It kind of gives me hope that those stories that like, for whatever, I heard that there was like maybe 5 mythicals in this gen. When the data mines first came out, I don't know if that's true or not. It might just be a rumor that someone started. But if there is, there's probably going to be at least 1 or 2, because there always is. But I'm hoping that they'll be like, well, you know what? We'll give you a little bit of story because we can now. Maybe they stopped doing that because they were trying to, like Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon were really pushing the 3DS to the limit.
Yeah.
I don't think they could have added that if they wanted to, or as much as they wanted to, and figured if we can't go all out with what we want, might as well just not do it.
Like, with X and Y, I would have at least taken those 3 power plants you can't go inside. Maybe the legendaries are inside there. It's the same thing as the one you go through in the story mode, just maybe reversed or something.
Well, see, here's the thing. What says they didn't try that and it didn't work?
Yeah, true.
That's why they gave up on it.
Yeah, but it would be cool to see the mythicals use the DLC to be catchable and all that, and now
maybe not
people
use the DLC. Maybe just like.
Well, yeah.
Oh, you still go to GameStop, or EB Games, and you get a code. But when you put the code in, instead of getting the mythical, you go to the Pokemon Center, and there's someone in the Pokemon Center who's like, "Oh, you're the champion of the Galar region. We need your help." And it's like a little bit like a story that lasts maybe like 30 minutes, but like it's still like it makes you appreciate the lore of the Pokemon, of the mythical Pokemon, more than just like, hey, here's a Pokemon, everybody has one now because the codes are given out. So
Yeah,
those we
heck,
don't share.
I would even take enter your code, and then it gives you like a special golden spot in the wild area where the the mythical spawns until you catch it. Like it, you can just rebattle as many times as you want until you finally get it, and then it's caught. I'd even take that over just getting it, just to add something for the people that are complaining about just getting it.
Yeah. Or do like, instead of making it like mystery gift codes, um, you update the wild area, and then there's that in the wild area. There's that building, that broken down building. That's actually a Pokemon den. That's how you get the. That's where you go to get those two. The Larvitar and the Jangmo that I got for buying the double pack. That's where
Yeah,
you go to get them. So like, even if it's just like, oh, you update it and then boom, oh, there's
yeah,
like, oh,
Th-
you could you either you put in the code and then it gives you the item that you can use there to spawn it, or you update the mystery area, the wild area through the mystery gift option, and it spawns there and anybody can battle it. You could go
yeah,
there, have a max raid battle with your friends, so you even have like 4 chances to catch it if you're with 3 of your friends.
yeah.
Just it's they have the potential to um they have the potential to make something happen better than it was in recent gens, is what I'm saying, and I hope that they do. If they don't, like, no biggie, but I hope that they make something, like they just give us like a little bit more of story, make those Pokemon feel a little bit more special than they do now, because now they kind of do feel like they're just regular Pokemon, even though they're mythical Pokemon.
Yeah, just like I'm not asking for much. I just want something to make the experience a little more worth it.
So let's move on to what Cerebrate calls potential Galarian forms, but they are obviously Galarian forms. The Kanto Birds, which is the first time a legendary Pokemon has had a regional variant. I still don't like Articuno.
Articuno's we're on the topic of Articuno. With the original bird designs, Articuno was my favorite design, and it's still my favorite design.
Articuno is literally the ugliest one, and it's still literally the ugliest one. I've seen a lot of people think that it will become Ice Psychic.
Uh,
I
I could see it. I talked with one friend, and he speculated Ice Steel.
I don't see Steel.
Just because of the coloring, it kind of makes me think of the ghost type Oricorio, so I'm kind of hoping it's a ghost type bird.
Ice Ghost, I think that would be... Nope, that Frostlass has that typing. I was about to say I think that's an original typing, but it's not.
Yeah, but even if... honestly, that's the typing I would like to go for, because not only with the coloring, but the... I don't know, the mask gives it sort of a mystique about it, so I just feel like it should be something like that, like a ghost or maybe a dark type Pokemon.
I'm gonna say my thought after we talk about all 3.
Yeah.
But I have seen some stuff. Moving on to Zapdos, I've seen people say that it could be either electric ground or electric fighting. I can see why they would think that. I don't think that either of those types fit it.
I don't see either of those types, and I've seen one person say that you could just slap dark type onto all 3 of them and call it a day. I can't remember who said that.
That was me. I was about to say that after all 3. But yes, any of these Pokemon, you could just replace the flying type with dark, and that's it. They all fit the dark type.
Especially that Moltres.
And speaking of Moltres, the best looking one, I like the fact I like the fact that it has red flames, like red and pinkish flames.
Yeah, it's kind of got like a red, pink, magenta fire.
It really makes it distinct. Not that the regular Moltres isn't distinct enough, because it is, the only fire flying that actually has fire on it, not counting Charizard's tail. But like the other fire flying birds, specifically, there's Talonflame, has like a fire design on it, has no fire on it. Ho-Oh has fire colors, has no fire on it. Moltres has actual fire on it.
Yeah, like I honestly forget that Ho-Oh is part fire sometimes. Like, I don't know if it's just because of the anime, but I always feel like it should be like a flying psychic or something like that.
That's Lugia's typing.
Yeah, I know that's Lugia. Then I know a lot of people mistaken Lugia for being a water type. I'm like, no.
Well, that's because in the anime it shows it in the water and how its baby was in the water and it lives in the water. But
Yeah,
also,
I mean,
in the games you catch it at the Whirl Islands.
yeah, like you literally catch it in a waterfall underwater.
So let's move on. Because we don't have all day.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the expansion pass. Gigantamax forms. Gigantamax forms. How Cerebi spelled it on his website. How Joe spelled it on his website. Sorry. He made a typo, and I think it's hilarious. So I will call it, instead of Gigantamax forms, I will call them Gigantamax. Gigantamax. That's what he wrote. He switched the N and the T. So Gigantamax. So these Gigantamax forms. So I'm just gonna say this. When they first revealed Charizard, G-Max Charizard, everyone was like, "Oh, the Game Freak's giving Charizard more love than the other ones," and I was the only one with a brain who was saying, "Listen, they don't give one thing to a member of the trio without giving it to the others." And they were like, "Well, Charizard got 2 megas," but the point is that Blastoise and Venusaur still got megas.
Yeah, but
so they yes, that one time they gave Charizard 2, but there was probably an in-lore version why Charizard has 2 Mega Evolutions, and they never got to it because they either didn't have the time to, like the time that they wanted.
It probably would have been explained in Pokemon Z if we ever got it.
Yeah. My personal theory on that is, and it's a theory that a lot of people seem to have, is that Mr. Fuji created the Mega Charizard X stone. Like Charizard, Megazord Y is its original Mega Evolution, and Mr. Fuji used Charizard as a guinea pig in order to be able to create Mega Stones for Mewtwo when they were creating Mewtwo.
You know, I had a sort of similar headcanon.
And that's why in Origins you see Mr. Fuji giving Red a Mega Charizard X stone.
Yeah, like I was on the same wavelength, like because of Mewtwo having the 2 Mega Evolutions. I was like, oh well, I'm not sure how canon it is to the games, but Blaine helped make Mewtwo in the manga. I was like, okay, so Blaine made the Y form and Fuji made the X form.
No, I think the X form would be the original one, the Y form, because it looks like an upgraded Charizard.
Well, yeah. Yeah, I mean, not with Charizard. I was saying that was my theory with Mewtwo for why it had 2 Mega Evolutions.
But anyways,
yeah, no.
So, like
I agree with you. I think X was an artificial Mega Evolution.
But so my point from before was that they wouldn't give Charizard something and not give it to the other 2, because they always do that. They always give, like, of course they did that with Ash Greninja, but that was like an anime thing, so it doesn't really count. And even though it became an in-game thing, it still started as an anime thing, and it
I'm still mad about Ash Greninja, not for the fact it exists, but for the fact it kept Ash from using a Mega Evolution in the anime.
I mean, he would have had it. Yeah, it's always been about using, the current mons, and no Gen 6 mon had a Mega Evolution until they gave one to Diancie.
Yeah.
So they had to come up with something, and that's what they came up with. But we're not here to talk about the 6th gen anime. That's fucking like 5 years ago.
Yeah, I know.
Actually, more than that. Came out in
Yeah,
2013. That's 8 years ago.
With Charizard getting the form, it was expected the other two Kanto starters would get a form when they were added. We just didn't know when they were going to be added to the games.
See, and this is the thing is, had they not made Charizard Leon's signature Mon, they would not have revealed Gigantamax Charizard when they did. They would have revealed Gigantamax Charizard when they revealed Gigantamax Venusaur and Gigantamax Blastoise.
I still wish they would have gave him a Gen 8 Pokemon as an ace, but it's understandable, I guess.
For the sake of the story of him having his Charizard be his main, be his signature Pokemon, they had to give it a G-Max form, and they had to reveal it right then and there. And maybe they didn't reveal G-Max Venusaur and G-Max Blastoise when they revealed G-Max Charizard, maybe because the designs weren't finalized, or they already had the idea that they were going to do this DLC and they wanted that to be part of the DLC. For whatever reason, people need to stop thinking that Charizard is the most popular Pokemon, the most overrated Pokemon, so Game Freak is going to give it more than it gives to the other two. It was 100%, it was pretty much confirmed that when we saw G-Max Charizard, that the other two would get G-Max forms.
But you know what? For those of you that are like me, that like one or the other more than Charizard, think about it this way. Charizard's never been a part of DLC. They have.
Alright. Actually, that's twice for Blastoise, because it was part of the DLC in Pokken.
Yeah, true.
But, what do you think of the designs? I honestly think that Venusaur looks emo as shit.
As much as it pains me to say this, Venusaur has the worst G-Max form out of the Kanto starters.
No, I think that's still Blastoise. Blastoise is still
I don't know. I really love Blastoise's whole fortress cannon design.
Yeah, but it's pointed in the wrong direction.
No, see, what's going to happen is it's going to pull itself into its shell and it's going to spin on its stomach while shooting water cannons everywhere.
But then it would hit all the fans that are watching.
I mean, if this is anything like the Pokemon Origins anime, there's those weird force fields around the gym, so the fans are fine.
I don't know. I think that the Venusaur one is cool, like in its own type of way. Like it looks emo as shit, but still, like you can still be like, oh well, that's a Venusaur.
I mean, it doesn't look bad. I mean, it's better than its Mega Evolution. I'll say that.
No, its Mega Evolution is better than that.
But with Venusaur,
Blastoise's Mega Evolution is better than its G-Max.
Oh yeah, definitely. But with Venusaur, like, it honestly gives me kind of like a swamp hermit kind of feel. Like it's got the straw hat and it's got the leaves to help shade from the sun and to keep it cool and all that. Like it feels like it belongs in a swamp, and I like that.
I mean, same could be said about you. I think you belong in a swamp. Burn.
I've never given it a try. Maybe I should.
Alright, let's move on to the current. Oh, go on.
Yeah, I was going to say, let's move on to the current starters, in which Inteleon, I'm sorry, I don't like it at all.
I get what they're going for. They're going for a sniper on top of the tower. I don't know, man. I've never really liked Inteleon.
I like Inteleon, but like the Tower of Water is what does it for me. Like,
it's not a Tower of Water. It's its legs.
That's its legs?
Well, it's white. What kind of water do you know that's white? Its legs are white.
I
don't know. We'd have to see its shiny form, but that looks like its legs.
Because like in the art, it's showing it like jumping into the air with the tower behind it in the concept art.
Oh.
So I think.
Oh no! Look, it's its tail. Look, if you look at on the right of its.
It is its tail. Okay, so it's laying on its tail in a sniper prone position.
Yeah, that gives it a little. I thought it was its legs, so that's really why I didn't like it. The fact that it's its tail makes it a little bit better, but it's still the
Yeah,
worst of
the
the
fact
three.
that the fact that it's the tail makes it better, but it is still the worst of the three.
The best one is
Uh,
Cinderace.
I love Cinderace's, like the freaking
Giant,
uh
giant
the
soccer
rabbit
ball.
will-o-wisp.
The what?
The giant rabbit will-o-wisp that it's sitting on, like it's sitting on top of a soul of fire.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And then Rillaboom's is all right. Like I get it, it's got a full drum set that's kind of cool, but
Yeah, I like Rillaboom, the regular Rillaboom. I guess I'd have to see Gigantamax Rillaboom in action for me to really get like the full experience.
yeah, like he better get a full-on drum solo when he attacks.
But I don't know. Cinderace is the my favorite of the starters, and it's still my favorite of the starters, even with their
Yeah.
Gigantamax forms.
I can't wait to watch it kick that giant fireball it's standing on at somebody.
Now I wonder, because it says even without its gigantic Pyro Ball, it can deliver powerful kicking moves that overwhelm the other Dynamax Pokemon. I wonder, because like for every Pokemon that has a Gigantamax form and they have their signature G-Max move, it's any move of that type becomes that G-Max move. But will it be any move, any fire type move that becomes that, or is it specifically Pyro Ball? Because it mentions that it's a Pyro Ball.
That's a really good question. Like, what if these have two signature moves, like one for the element and then one for their signature moves?
I don't think it's probably going to be like they all have signature moves. So if it's a signature move, it uses that G-Max move, and if it's just if it's like flamethrower or something, it will just use like the max fire, whatever the fuck
Yeah.
it's called. But there's new legendaries.
There are new legendaries,
Urshifu.
which Urshifu, like,
Wait, hold on. Let's go to let's talk about Cubfu first. What do you think about Cubfu? I've heard people say that it looks like a Digimon, which I have to say, I heard that a lot about Gen 8 Mons.
I heard that a lot about Gen 6 and 7 Mons.
Digimon and Pokemon are the same thing, alright? They're different franchises, but they're both, made up monsters whose entire point is that they don't look like regular animals, or like it's
And
things that look like, if you look at Scorbunny and you're like, well, that doesn't look like a Pokemon or a bunny, it's a Digimon. Well, you know what? I can name like any Digimon and be like, well, it could easily fit in Pokemon. Like there's a hacker who replaced Dynamax Charizard, who replaced Leon's Charizard in the little intro video with a Greymon, and when it Dynamaxes it because it's Metal Greymon, just to show how easily you could just take any Digimon and fit it in a Pokemon game. It's the same thing for Pokemon and Digimon. They're the same thing. So stop using that as an excuse. It's not an excuse.
It's kind of a tangent, but for the people who want to go ahead and be like, well, Digimon's a Pokemon clone anyway. One, no, the games are completely different. So are the animes, and two, Pokemon wasn't the first monster battle game created, so you can't even. You'd have to call it a ripoff of whatever came before Pokemon.
It isn't. It actually even isn't that. It was made by the company that makes Tamagotchis, and they wanted to make a Tamagotchi for boys, and that's how Digimon.
And that's why there's so many dinosaurs, because those were easy to be made on the Tamagotchi.
But I think Cubfu is like the quintessential baby. Like it looks like a fighting type, so it has that fighting type.
My favorite thing about it is that it's got the different color in its hair that looks like it's wearing a headband.
Yeah.
Like that's my favorite detail about this thing, but Cubfu, I love it. Like honestly,
it feels like one of those mons that you're like, oh, I want to use it. But like when you're using it, like it's like Noibat. where you're like, I want a Noivern, but every time you use Noibat in battle, you realize that Noibat is just straight up garbage, and that it's literally the most annoying mon to raise because you have to raise it to a super fucking high level before it evolves, and it's
they
just
did the same thing with
straight up
Dreepy.
shit. It's just straight up shit. But
Yeah.
Dreepy at least has 2 stages, but like,
Yeah, but honestly, Cub Fu.
I feel like that's what's gonna be though. I feel like they're
Yeah,
gonna
but
release the first stage of DLC. They're gonna give us a Kubfu, and then we're gonna have it's only gonna evolve at the end of the DLC story because it says that it evolves depending on the choices that you make. So
yeah,
I have a feeling that the people are gonna try and use it, and it's gonna have like maybe like 20 base stats. So
honestly though,
it's gonna be dying to every hit, and I guarantee you that one of those things is like, oh, if it faints more than this amount of times, it's automatically going to become the dark type one, or which
maybe.
that would be fine because I would just repeatedly send it out to get killed because I want the dark type one. But like,
Yeah,
I have a feeling people are not gonna get the type that they want because Kubfu is gonna be such a shit Pokemon overall. But like
yeah,
Urshifu is gonna be fucking amazing.
Cub Fu and Urshifu. I can't remember. Did the trailer call them legendaries?
They did.
All right,
They
because
are legendaries. They're not mythical Pokemon. Even though mythical
like,
Pokemon are legendaries,
yeah.
mythical
Oh,
Pokemon
I
are
was just
event
wondering
only.
because
This is not an
like,
event.
Cub Fu and Urshifu, like, it's not based on the designs, but the 2-stage fighting and all that. It really kind of gives me a Lucario feel.
Well, Lucario was regarded as basically a legendary Pokemon when
Yeah,
it first
but
came out. Because it got its
honestly,
own fucking movie.
yeah, I don't like. I don't like the idea of people in the anime having legendary or mythical Pokemon, but I would love to see Ash or his friend get one of these because I feel like this would fit really well as an anime Pokemon.
I mean, Ash got Meltan.
Yeah, he did. He also got what's the name of that poison dragon ultra beast thing?
Poipo.
Yes, Poiple.
Naganadel. So
Yeah.
basically, in Alola, Ash had a mythical Pokemon and an Ultra Beast, 2 sub-legendaries of legendary Pokemon.
Yeah, so I
Wait, did
could
I
honestly
just say 2 sub-legendaries of legendary 2 sub-categories of legendary Pokemon?
yeah, so I could honestly see him getting one of these in the anime, and it feels like an Ash Pokemon. I'm not gonna lie.
I feel like if they did that, they would give him like a Kubfu, and then they'd have like they'd have a Kubfu in his team for like 30 episodes, and then they would put out the movie that Kubfu and Urshifu is in, and then in the movie you'd see that there's, it'd be like they could do like the black and white movie where there's one
Where it's the same movie, but it just changes what Pokemon he gets.
yeah, and in one version they ran into an Urshifu that is like
The single strike.
the one like the single strike, and then
And
at the end
then
of
the other
movie,
version, it's the multi-strike.
yeah, but at the end of the movie, Ash's Kubfu evolves into the other version, the other
Yeah,
style, and then that from that point on, that the Urshifu is no longer part of Ash's party. He's like how they got rid of Greninja. It's like, oh well, we need you because you can see where the fucking roots are or whatever. So it's like at the end of the movie, Urshifu leaves and then like comes back for like the Elite Four of Galar or whatever.
Yeah.
Which doesn't even exist. But anyways. So yeah, so I feel like that they would do that if they did put him in the anime as one of the Pokemon. Well basically like what they did with Poiple. Poiple came came back as a Naganadel, and then left again. But like
Or, just putting it out here, I doubt this would happen, but Ash gets a Kubfu, and then Team Rocket gets a Kubfu, and then they get opposite versions.
yeah, I could see that. I don't know.
Yeah, there's a lot that they could do, but I really love Kubfu and Urshifu's designs, and since we're on the topic of Kubfu and Urshifu, Me and Alex, we actually have differing opinions. He likes the single strike version better. I like the multi-strike version better.
Yeah, but you also like wiggly stuff, so I win. All right, let's
But
move on
yeah,
to.
I love how the multi-strike is water fighting though, because unless there's some I'm forgetting, we've only had 2 other Pokemon with that typing.
Poliwrath.
Yeah, Poliwrath and Keldeo. There's only 2 water fightings I can think of, and having a third will be kind of cool.
So this guy on Twitter is trying to make me believe that he transferred mons from Gen 2 to Gen 3.
That's completely impossible.
I know, but he's 100% sure he's going to fight and tell me I'm wrong, even though I'm not.
Yeah, no, that's why they had to come up with the remakes for Fire Red and Leaf Green, because there were Pokemon you just could not get in Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald because you couldn't transfer from Gen 2 to Gen 3.
Yep. And yep, that Urshifu is the 3rd water fighting type. But let's move on to. Alright, I will preface this by saying that this is not a deer. It's not one of those, jackalopes, I think they're what they're called. It's a bunny, a straight up bunny. It's a bunny with 4 ears holding up a giant berry or whatever. It does not have wings. That's supposed to symbolize a cape. And the reason why it's on 2 legs and not 4 is because it's a bunny, the deer. Right? Calyrex is a bunny.
Yeah, and
I don't understand how anybody can be like, that's a deer. It's not a deer. Those are
no,
clearly
it's not a
ears.
deer
It-
at
it's-
all.
If you tell me that this is a deer, you have literally just like permanently inscribed in my brain that you are a fucking moron.
And because of the Japanese prayer beads it has around its neck, it makes me feel like it's probably based off of whatever was the inspiration for Antilamon and Cherubimon, which are rabbit Digimon.
That would make sense.
Yeah, but
But this is the king Pokemon. The big berry looking thing on his head is to symbolize his crown. That's why it's on his head. He has those things in his back to symbolize a cape, because most of the time you'll see a king in like a movie or something, he'll be wearing a cape or a gown or some type of long flowing robe.
and this is our second Psychic Grass legendary.
Yes, which means that it's weak to bug 4 times and therefore is garbage.
Yeah, so this is our secondary Celebi. One was the Guardian, the other one's a King. So maybe next time we'll get the Destroyer. Who knows?
Let's move on to the new Reggies, which I have come to call Regibold and Regidrake, which could honestly be their names, but they're obviously. I thought the dragon one could be dark type until I realized that its arms are a dragon head. And
these could be our first dual type Regis. It could be a dragon dark type.
oh, not another one, not another one.
Yeah.
We have 2. It's fine. We don't need more.
Yeah, but I'm very with you on electric and dragon. They just seem like the obvious typings.
My question is, because you see it in the trailer that they basically recreated the temples for the other 3, but that these 2 have like a shared temple. So
I hope they're not version exclusive.
I don't think they'll be version exclusive. I hope they're not. But my question is will it, like, they showed the outside of the temples, but like, is there a possibility that there might be more?
That's a very good question. And
because it so far
I would
there's
like there to be more, honestly. Like, while
there's
that
been a
question's
rock,
on
there's been a silver, and a steel. There's been ice
and
then
normal.
normal, and now they're adding basically electric and dragon. But what if this is just the precursor, and as part of the DLC, they're gonna give us like maybe not every type, but like more Reggies, like maybe like 2 more Reggies to be like, well, in Hoenn they have these that are native to Hoenn, and then in Sinnoh, and then oh well, in Galar there's, in the Crown Tundra there's its own set of 3 golems and a golem master.
Yeah, since we were talking about Game Freak's love of lore and stuff, they added Regigigas as kind of the guardian of the Reggies, and it said that he created the other 3. So I'm thinking there might be at least a third one that created these 2.
Maybe.
I just hope that we don't need to. With the temple, it kind of gave me like the Snow Point City Temple vibe. I'm sitting here hoping that we don't need to catch other Reggies to unlock the ability to enter the temple to catch these Reggies.
If anything, I think they'll make it so that if you want to encounter Regigigas, you'll have to catch all the Reggies.
I would like that if you had to catch the 3 previous and these 2 to get Regigigas, because again, he is supposedly the creator of the Reggies. The only thing I don't like about these is that now the Reggies don't have the common trait of all of them being weak to the fighting type.
Well, there's only so many types that are weak to fighting.
Yeah, the only one they haven't used is Dark.
That could be it's weird to me though that they're adding only 2 new Reggies. That's why it's like I feel like there's gonna be like
More.
at least 2 more. Like a Galar, like you could see these as like maybe counterparts to the other ones, and like there'd maybe be a third one,
Now,
and then another like a counterpart to Regigigas, so that like has like essentially the same stats and maybe the same ability, but like maybe a special variant or something like that, but has like a different type.
You know,
The only thing
I'm
though
just
is
gonna.
that there's no common weakness between dragon and electric. So.
Yeah, but I'm gonna throw this out there. Not because I believe it, but because I could see this being a theory out there. So I'm just gonna throw it out here now to get your opinion on it. But so these 2 have similar designs to past Reggie. So the electric type is a Galarian Regice, and the dragon one is Registeel's Galarian form.
No.
Yeah, no, but because of the similar body shapes, I could see someone throwing that theory out there. So I just wanted to throw it out there first.
It's because they both have similar body shapes to Registeel. How they have how the top of their body is round and the bottom is, and then they have big arms. That's Registeel. That's
the electric one's kind of like Regice. It's got the big arms, it's got the pointed head, and then like the small lower body.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Then again, we have to wait till fall, so
Yeah,
they're part of the Crown Tundra.
But no, I'm pretty sure these are just all new exclusive Reggies. I don't think they're going to be Galarian forms. I could see someone thinking that, so I just wanted to throw that out there in case anyone else had that thought.
Nah, it's fucking. But
yeah, no,
while we're
Regidrake and Regibolt, I could definitely see those being the names, or maybe Regishock and Regidraco. There's not a lot you can do for a dragon type name, honestly.
Yeah. Regigan.
Regiron because of the Regilong because of the ancient dragon Shenlong.
I don't think it doesn't look like Shenlong or
Yeah, it doesn't.
But while we're on the, we forgot to mention something for Urshifu. Both its styles have Gigantamax forms, and the rapid single strike style um, has red, which is automatically makes it better, and the rapid strike has blue, which makes sense for a water type, but also automatically makes it the shittier one
But
because red is the best color, and
I'm glad that they revealed that the forms are choice based, because if with the color schemes, I could have seen them being version exclusive forms.
yeah, but you have swords, so you would have got a rapid style, which is the one you want.
Yeah, so I wouldn't have had a problem with that, but I'm glad that's not the case. I just hope that, yeah, some people are going to want it, but I hope that in the dojo on that island, they don't have someone who can train it to go to the different styles. I hope that once you get your style, you're stuck with it.
What?
Like, I'm saying, like, with, there's the whole dojo where you get it in the story and all that. I'm hoping that you can't, there's not an NPC that changes the style of your Urshifu.
I don't think there would be.
I don't think there will be, and I hope that there isn't. But I could see people wanting that to be a thing in case they get the wrong one.
Well, then just fucking trade with your friend. Shut the fuck up. People, like, I understand your point of view because people will literally bitch about anything. But,
Yeah,
like,
but
at this
you know what?
point, it's just like, listen, if you want the other style, find someone who has that style and ask them if they want to trade. That's it.
Yeah,
But then people are gonna be like, "Well, I have anxiety, and I don't give a shit about your anxiety." Okay.
and to
There's
quote,
there's literally a site that acts as a GTS where you don't even need to speak to anybody, right?
yeah,
You just put the Pokemon you want, the Pokemon you're offering, and then you know someone will message you or something, and then you'll put the link code in and you'll trade. That's it. You don't have to fucking speak to them.
and to with your whole trade with a friend, to quote Ken right before Pyodramon was born. But what if you don't have any friends?
Well, then special trade and hope for the best.
Yep.
All right, and we're going to move on to the returning Pokemon. Cerebi has a list of 84 of what we've seen, or have seen at least one member of the evolution family in the direct, in the trailer. So let's just go over this. There's a page I had before that showed. Right.
Yeah.
So if you go on the Cerebi page for the Isle of Armor and the Crown Tundra, it shows you which mons are going to be available that we know of so
And
far.
which ones?
Yeah, that's what I said. Which mons are going to be available that we know so far.
Yeah, but I was saying, like, on the site, they have one that shows all the mods, or you can go to the individual DLCs to find out which ones are in which DLCs.
So let's talk about, like, the mons that are returning in each DLC that we know of so far. So in the Isle of Armor DLC, you have Psyduck and Golduck. Obviously, Galarian Slowbro. So regular Slowbro is going to be available.
Yeah, you got the Magnemite line.
The Magnemites, the Chansey line, the Horsey line. Marona
Zorua.
You got Zorua Zoroark, Larvesta Volcarona, the Talonflame line, the Dene, and the Lycanrocs.
Honestly, not a bad mix of stuff. Yeah, they're not leaving out any of the gens, so that's good. Actually, wait. Hold on a second. I just realized the only Gen 3 Pokemon on this list is...
There are none.
Actually, yeah, no, they don't even show Azurill on it, but Azurill should be in it because Meryl's in it, so that would be the only Gen 3 Pokemon returning on that island.
Yeah, and there's so far, 25 now with counting Azurill. Someone should tell Joe about that. But yeah, so there's 25 Pokemon so far revealed, which is a quarter of them.
Well, I guess Azurill's not on it because it's not going to be catchable in the wild, but since you can catch Meryl, get a C instant, boom, Azurill.
I mean, it might be catchable in the wild. It might be someone that gives you the babies. Happini's on there, and it's not going to be catchable in the wild. It's a baby Pokemon.
Oh, true. Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm just happy that Lycanrocs are back. I don't care about midday. It's still awful. But Midnight still looks badass as hell. And I got a shiny Rockruff in my bank called Rock McStuff.
It was no surprise that Dedenne was going to come back, but I'm surprised we haven't been
Listen.
confirmed of the Gen 3 Pika clones of Plusle and Minun.
Dedenne is awful, okay? Dedenne, I'm pretty sure that the only fairy-type move that it gets is Play Rough, and it's a special attacker, okay? This thing was made to be shit, and it is.
But, so, they aren't returning in this DLC, and I haven't checked the other DLC yet, but I'm kind of a little upset that we're not seeing Pachirisu and Emolga, but I'm sure they will return because they are popular.
I'm upset for Pachirisu because it's my favorite one, but Emolga, no one cares. You're literally the only fan of Pokemon who cares about Emolga.
Oh no, I hate Emolga.
No, you care. You love Emolga. You're
I
sad
have
that you're sad that you don't see it.
I have a love-hate relationship with Emolga because of the Elisa gym battle with it constantly volt switching.
I have to say, now a lot of these are legends, but the Crown Tundra roster so far is fucking power. Okay, you've got the Nido Queen, Nido King. You got Crobat.
Your Nidoran lines. You got your Zubat line. Electabuzz is hit and miss for some people.
Electivire, you got Metagross, Garchomp, Cryogonal, which is great. I'm hoping that they give us the other fossils and not just Aurorus.
Yeah, because Aurorus is there, I'm expecting Tyrantrum. If not, that's kind of wrong.
I understood why they didn't put the fossils in the main game, because they wanted to focus the fossil attention on the whole mix and match aspect.
What if I combine my fossilized Drake with the Sail fossil?
It won't.
Yeah, I'm saying I could see someone trying to do that.
But I understand why they didn't put it in the main game, but at the same time, Tyrantrum should have been in the main game because it's the Tyrant Pokemon. I think it's the Despot Pokemon. I think it's the Tyrant Pokemon. Anyways, it's it was the king of the fossils, so,
Yeah,
heavy influence of the royalty and everything.
Yeah, no, I could have seen that.
It should have been in. Pyro should have been in.
I'm a little upset looking at the DLC that Progunk and Toxicroak haven't been confirmed yet.
They're in the main game, bud.
Oh, they are?
Yeah.
I must have never ran into one.
Yeah, because they're Shield exclusive.
Okay. But let's get on to these legendaries.
Yeah, so pretty much all of them are there. I'm not seeing Redragagos.
Yeah, I'm not seeing I'm not seeing any of the mythicals like Celebi and all that.
Celebi was part of the 35 mons that are transferable at the beginning. It's in the code.
Yeah. But it would have been cool to have them included, but if they had included them, it would have kind of ruined the whole mythical feel.
This is just the DLC.
True, yeah.
There's 35 mons that include the other two Cancer starters, the Alola starters, the Alola Legends, the Alola Mythicals. There's the Tao Trio. There's the Swords of Justice, including Keldeo. There's Celebi, Jirachi. I think there's a few other ones. I haven't named 35, but there's 35 other mons that are already in the code that are transferable starting when Home comes out. So those ones are not part of the DLC, so they wouldn't show up on this list.
Yeah.
But the birds will be transferable. They'll be catchable in their Galarian forms. Because we have Galarian birds, I'm kind of hoping that we'll have Galarian dogs too, but cats too, but I don't think that they're gonna do that. They'll be catchable in game for sure, but I don't think they'll make the Galarian forms for them.
I'd like Galarian forms, but just because of the lore of Raikou, Entei, and Suicune, I don't think they're going to get new forms.
I wonder if Lugia will still be the trio master of the birds, even in their Galarian forms. Because it is the trio master of the birds, and Ho is the trio master of the cats. Because they're cats, they're not dogs.
The legendary beast.
Yeah, but they're all cats.
Honestly, because of Moltres, Zapdos, and Articuno getting Galarian forms, if we get a Galarian Lugia, I would not be one to complain.
I wouldn't get my hopes up because it's a main legendary, and I think that we saw regular Lugia in...
Yeah, like, I'm not going to get my hopes up, and I don't remember seeing it in the trailer, but I might have just been too excited about the other stuff to be paying attention at the moment.
I'm gonna try and not have any background noise go, but I'm gonna play the trailer and skip to that part.
While you're doing that, it's gonna be nice to see them back again, but it's also gonna be. I'm not too fond of the Tapus returning because I don't know. I'm just not feeling them anymore.
I never felt them. They're fucking awful. Alright, so that's the birds. Oh, I think I have to go to the direct to get that image, the image I'm looking for.
Alright, I'm also noticing that on the list that we have... Oh, no, never mind. There's Giratina. I forgot it comes after Heatran in the Pokedex. So, yeah, Giratina's there, which is good.
There's also going to be new items and a new mode. The new
I forgot about the new mode.
So people have been freaking out a little bit because in this in this direct, when they talked about Home, they didn't show the compatibility between Pokemon Go and Home. It's still there. I can guarantee you that it's still there. There's no site that has removed that part of the information. Every site that talks about Pokemon Home also talks about being able to transfer your Pokemon from Go to Home. So just because it doesn't show it in that small clip that showed that you can transfer from Bank and from Let's Go into Home, doesn't mean it's no longer there. It's still there. But yeah, so that's where's this fucking... Alright, here we go. Legends Return. It doesn't show any of the... It doesn't show like Regigigas or anything like that. So I understand not putting him on the list, and maybe he's not in. We don't know that.
Yeah, there's always the chance that they could have, cut him out and just chumped him out of the ability to be in the game.
And I would not be surprised by that, for the sole reason that with Weezing's new ability, it would make him broken.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, I've already had enough fun in Gen 6 using skill swap with Azelf to give Slacking Levitate. That was always fun to do.
Because if you look at it, Regigigas, you look at his stats, right? It's got 160 base speed attack, and it's got 100 base speed. So with slow start, it's got a base 80 attack, which is still not that bad, but it's got a base 50 speed, which is god awful. And you have that for 5 turns, and if you switch out and switch back in, that resets.
But if you've got a Weezing in a double battle...
Yeah, if you have a Pokemon that can take that away, you have a Pokemon who is, I wouldn't say faster than half the metagame, but is, in one of the top speed tiers, being 100 base speed. And who hits like a fucking truck.
Yeah, one of the highest base attack stats in the game, if I recall.
Yes, one of them.
and its defenses aren't bad at 110 each, so you can, get rid of that whole little, warm-up period instantly.
It's like there are ways around it. You can always use like a move that.
Regigigas Trick Room Team.
Well, yeah, you can do that, but you can always use a move that'll remove. I'm blanking. Weezing's ability.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Also, I will mention this. I've seen some people. Because in the Crown Tundra, I think it is. Yeah, it's the Crown Tundra. It says that you'll join a certain character's expedition team or some shit like that.
I'm hoping it's Brandon from the Battle Frontier.
People are taking that too literal and being like, oh, it's probably gonna be like Cynthia or it's gonna be like Lance. No, they show the character in the trailer. It's a black dude with the same like jumpsuit that you see the player characters have. We don't know his name. That's why they didn't give a name, but they've shown him in the trailer. And if you look back, you can see him, and that is the character. Because otherwise, why would they show a character that looks like it's an important character for that aspect of the DLC and not have it be that character?
Yeah.
Like they showed off Mustard, which by the way is a stupid fucking name.
It is. But again, it'd be kind of cool to see Brandon from the Battle Frontier come back because he was all about the Reggies, and there's new Reggies and exploring stuff, and
yeah.
Heck,
I'm just putting it out there that they've shown the character, we just don't know his name.
But speaking of that, no, like the whole exploring thing, another character who could come back is Rourke from Gen 4, and then that would give people more hopes of Diamond Pearl remakes coming soon. But yeah, no, thanks to this DLC that's coming out, we're not going to get the Diamond Pearl remakes this year as much as everyone wanted them.
We're not getting anything this year. We're getting.
Well, yeah.
We're getting the Mystery Dungeon
like I said,
DX. We're getting
because
the two DLCs.
People are expecting a new game this year, but we're getting the DLCs instead. Which, for all you people complaining, we're not.
I wouldn't even be surprised if, like, next year, like around this time, they have another direct and say, you know what, we gave you 2 DLCs last year. We're giving you 2 more this year.
Honestly, people would complain, but. People complain more about yearly Pokemon games, so what would you rather have? Pick your poison.
I honestly don't care either way.
I don't care either way either.
I'm gonna pay it anyways, so it doesn't really matter for me. But yeah, there are some other things. Oh yeah, so. With the Isle of Armor, we get 2 new rivals. We get Clara and Sword and Avery and Shield. For everyone who hasn't understood yet, Clara is a girl and Avery is a guy. And also Beady, or Bede, whatever his name is, that's a guy. So I think I've just, spoiled, ruined that for everybody because some people, for some reason, people can't seem to understand that
like Beta even is referred to as a he in the story. Like, how are people still confused about that?
I don't know. People are still confused about that, and people thought that Avery was like, I get it. Like Avery looks feminine, and Avery could be a girl's name, but that is a dude in every way, shape, and form. But anyways, he might be like. I don't know. I didn't pay attention to what he said in that little cutscene for the Slowpoke, but he could be, a non-binary or whatever. They call him he, but he himself could view himself as non-binary, be a progressive addition to the Pokemon franchise. I don't think that they're going to do that because that's.
I honestly don't see No, Game Freak doing that because the East isn't as focused on that as the West is.
Yeah, they don't give a shit. I'm sure that
So,
like if you told them, they'd be like, "Oh, that's nice," but they don't give a shit, and it's not because they don't agree with your lifestyle. It's because that's not part of their
it's not
society.
it's not part of their society, and it doesn't affect them. So
That's why, like they didn't like Jinx was never made to be racist, even though
yeah,
its
no,
skin was pure black. It was made to uh
it was based off of a Japanese yokai of a woman who lives in icy mountains, and some people thought it was based off of that Japanese fashion statement where
it
you
is
would
based off that fashion statement. Ganguro
yeah
Girls, it's based off of that.
yeah, but it also has some mythological basis as well.
Yeah, because the whole ice type thing. But
Yeah,
it's based off of that and off of Ganguro Girls who idolize the um, black way of life and imitate it with their fashion style, which includes getting so tanned that their skin turns brown.
yeah, like it wasn't
Which,
like
if someone did that now in our societies, they'd be called racist and blackface, but
yeah,
they don't
like
have the same values as us.
Jinx wasn't based off of those old Walt Disney cartoons where it's the big lip, dark skinned kids and all that.
Which is funny because I'm pretty sure it was one black woman who bitched about that and got it changed. But literally every black person that I've met, I've asked that like Pokemon, I've asked them about that, and none of them give a shit.
Yeah,
So
heck,
it's
I
literally
remember
one person who bitched, and they had to change it. It's like that.
they had to get rid of it. They had to change an entire episode where Jinx takes care of Tracy because it's like, oh, we can't show black Pokemon taking care of a white guy.
That's why they got rid of Brock for our Orange Islands.
Yeah, because
And then
they thought
and then they
like
saw
they
that.
thought that people found Brock offensive, and then they found out, oh, no one cares about what Brock looks like. Bring him back.
Yeah, everyone hated Tracy so much that they realized no one cares what Brock looks like. It just bring Brock back, and they brought Brock back. That was funny.
And then they brought him back again.
Yeah, but like, it's like the Game and Watch thing with Smash Bros. Ultimate. Game and Watch has always had that one move where
Oh,
he
Indian.
he imitates Native American
Yeah.
attire, and then one person said, "I'm Native and this is offensive," so they took it out of the game, even though no other Native fucking cared. So it's
Yeah.
it's funny how it's always one person bitches and then it ruins it for everybody. Well, it doesn't ruin it, but like Game and Watch as a character in Smash is a testament to its legacy in gaming, and that was part of the legacy, and now it's no longer in there because one person found it offensive.
Like with the Game and Watch thing, it makes me think of that little thing that they put in front of some Walt Disney cartoons when they air them, saying,
it was a different time. It was a different
time, and society was different, but we're not going to change it because that's like saying that this never existed and the problems never existed, and we're not going to say that they didn't. And I respect the Disney for doing that. Like, I wish that Nintendo would do the same thing with some of these things.
Yeah, but it's whatever. Let's go back to talking about the expansion pass.
I don't even remember how we got onto this tangent.
Well, I said Avery was a dude and BD was a dude, and that maybe
then we got.
But
Yeah, that's right. That's how we got on that whole spiel.
Isle of Armor expansion pass also adds tutor moves, which I thought meant like the starter moves, but they're already in the game, so it's not that. It's basically how every third game or every like second pair of game has like 20,000 more tutor moves than the first game had, which basically only has like the starter ones and then Draco Meteor. So the Armor will have tutor moves. Will also allow for apricorns to be made into Pokeballs, which is what I've wanted since the beginning, because I hate how they limit you. Like, that's the one thing that I hate about these games, is that it's like, It like in Sword and Shield, in Sun and Moon, it was like, you know, you would walk into a town and then, oh, there's Professor Oak, and then he'd talk to
Yeah,
you about something,
show
and
me
then
this Pokemon.
yeah, and then he'll give you a Pokeball, you know, he'll give you an
And,
Apricorn ball, and that's the only one you can get all game.
and the worst part about it is there was an island in Sun and Moon where it's like, oh, we took influence from Johto culture. It's like, great. Where's the Apricorn Pokeballs? Let me buy them here. I don't even care if they're twice the price of regular Pokeballs.
Yeah, there's some of them that I like so much better. Like, I like the
Like,
netball; it looks cool, but I like the lure ball better. Let me
yeah,
buy the lure ball. Now they're
I
letting us.
love the design of the lore ball. The fastball. I like its design.
The only thing though is I hope that they don't pull a Gen 2, and maybe Gen 4. I don't know. I haven't tried in Gen 4. But when you give an Apricorn ball to Kurt, it takes him a fucking day before he fucking calls you to be like,
Oh,
hey, come get your
yeah,
Pokeball. I hope they don't do that. I hope it's just
yeah,
like,
no,
oh,
that was,
you have an you know how
yeah,
how they changed fossils, right? Fossils, you had to go in the building, talk to the dude, give him your fossil, run out of the building, and then run back in to claim your fossil. And that was the fastest you could get it. But now it's, here's the fossil. Oh, thank you, my Pokemon. I hope it's like that, where you give them the Apricorn and then immediately, or
yeah,
even better, you talk to them and they're like, oh well, how many Apricorns do you want to chase? You're like, oh, 10. Okay, we'll turn these 10 into Pokeballs, and then they give you the Pokeballs.
yeah, but with the whole Apricorn thing, so the way it worked in Gen 2, you would talk to Kurt, give him the Apricorn, you get the ball right then and there. Gen 4, you talk to him, he'd be like, oh, what Apricorns do you want me to turn into balls? And you could give him any amount, but only of one color, and it would take a full day. I hope that they let you hand him multiple Apricorns of different colors, and it doesn't take a whole day.
Nah,
Like, I'd love to be able to give him, like, 5 blue
like
Apricorns and 1 red.
here's what I would want. Like, let's say you'd be like, oh well, you go up to him and you like give him like 10 red Apricorns. He's like, I could, you know, all right, you can come back. You can either come back in a day and it won't cost you anything, or you can pay me $1,000 or like $10,000 because you know you gotta, you know,
Yeah, 1,000 per ball.
and then he'll be like, all right, and you'll get them right away. All right,
Yeah.
cool. Here's 10. Here's 10 grand. Give me my balls.
Yeah, and I also kind of hope that like I could see it being like a trade sim. It's like, oh, I have this many of this ball in stock and this many of this ball in stock. If you and then you can trade him the Apricorns for the already completed Pokeballs, and it changes daily.
I don't like daily stuff.
Yeah, I don't like daily stuff either, but like, just I don't know, like something different besides here's your Apricorns. Wait for the clock to go 24 hours. Now you can pick them up. I
Yeah.
don't want that.
I'd rather, because money is super easy to get in this game, right? Like, all you need to
Easiest
do,
it's ever been.
all you need to do is just go around, interact with all the dens. You'll get like at least, there's always like at least like 4 or 5 dens that are active that'll give you 2 grand when you beat the game, and then the rest give you 200. So you get a good amount of watts just in doing that one turn of interacting with all the dens. Then you go to the left,
The Digging Brothers.
left digging brother, spam A until you use all your watts, and then just sell everything he gives you.
Yeah.
Dude, I found the dude that the dude, it always changes, but like I wanted to buy repeat balls because those are the best for this type of game where you're like, I count all the Pokemon, so repeat balls are the best for after you finish the decks and you're doing like max raid battles and stuff and you want to catch the Pokemon. So I went there and they're 50 watts a piece, and I bought 999 of them, and it cost me, well, sure you can do the math, but like,
Yeah.
I
Cost
had
you a
like
lot of watts,
I
but
had like over 200,000 watts, so it didn't even make a dent in my watt total, and I have 999 balls, like repeat balls. Well, not anymore. I have 990, but like, because I used some,
Yeah.
but, like, worst comes to worst, those are like, I think they're like 500 a piece when you sell them. So you just buy a 999, go to the mart, sell them, come back, buy a 999 more, because they're all 50 watts. So if you don't want to just keep spamming, the Watt guy, you could just go buy a bunch of special balls from the guys in the wild area, go to the Pokemon Center, trade them, come back, buy more. You know.
Yeah, like there's all you can do to, like,
So
just let me buy the Apricorn Pokeballs. Like,
well, it says allows for apricorns to be made into Pokeballs. So I don't think they'll let you buy them. I
no, like
wish
if
they
there's
would have
like
done that.
like I would even take an NPC in the wild area who sells them for watts. 100 watts a ball. Boom.
Yeah, but it is what it is. But it also will introduce this Isle of Armor will also introduce an EXP charm, which increases the experience points your team receives. I wonder if that's stackable with the EXP candies. I doubt it will be.
I doubt it too, which, honestly...
But if it does, it's a fucking game changer. Because it'll take you half of the EXP candies that it currently takes to level up a Pokemon to 100, which means that
an EXP charm, that's a cool idea, and I hope that in either the third / second games for this gen or Gen 9, they make that something available during the story. Not that we need it, but I think it would be kind of cool to get that in game during the story.
Yeah, but there's not gonna be. If there's other games in this gen, it's like Diamond and Pearl remakes, but there's not gonna be a third version of this game. There are people who after the DLC was released were like, why would I pay $30 for DLC when instead of doing that they could just sell a third version that has everything included? And it was like, the whole point of DLC is that they're not doing a third version,
which is a little upsetting because they
also
like
those
the
people...
story honestly set up good for kind of like a Black 2 White 2 thing where the next game takes place like 3 years later, because things change in these games. Like by the end of the story, some people have gotten new jobs.
Yeah, but like the worst part about something like that is, again, I don't want to go back into how we threw shade in the first 15 minutes of this, but like it's also a thing about money, is that someone would rather, instead of spending, okay, they didn't buy the games, so they don't know how good the games are, right? Everything that they know about the games is stuff that's been said, or like Let's Plays or whatever, but they've never actually experienced the game themselves because they don't want to, because they view it as unfinished, and that they would... But here's the thing, is that people like that think that if something like that would happen, like if Game Freak was like, let's say this fall, when to coincide with the release of the second DLC, they start selling like deluxe edition or whatever, where it has the DLC included already. That deluxe edition would cost you $90. They're not gonna charge us $30 for DLC at the beginning of the year, and then at the end of the year sell a deluxe version that has the DLC included for the price of the base game. So either way, you're still paying $90. Well, in the States, you're still paying for the game and the DLC. So having that, saying that, like, oh, I wouldn't buy it unless it was this, is stupid, because you're still paying the same price. You're still getting the same thing. There's not a bonus that you're getting because you're buying the deluxe edition that has the DLC already in it. You're still buying the same base game with the DLC for the same price. So it's stupid to be like, well, I'm not gonna buy it because the game's unfinished, and I'll buy it when the game comes out with the DLC already part of it. Because for some reason they're convinced themselves that Game Freak would do that and sell it $60.
I mean, I could see them releasing a deluxe edition for more that has it already.
Yeah, but if they do that, the price will be higher.
Yeah, it'll still be the same price, Yeah, I get that, but I mean, at least if they did okay, the only reason why I could see someone wanting a deluxe edition like that is if they do not do like other companies and you get a steel case book, because that would be the only reason for waiting. Uh, oh. Okay, I heard you now. Duh. Thought that the call got dropped for no reason.
No, I'm just telling this guy he's an idiot.
Ah.
The guy is like, nope, I transferred forward each generation as they came out. My Typhlosion is from my 2001 playthrough, and the Scizor and Crobat from my second playthrough in 2005.
You can't do that. It's impossible. Software limitations.
I'm literally replying it. It's impossible to transfer Mons from Gen 2 to 3, so you, sir, are lying.
Yeah, like that. It's hardware limitations. It was not possible at all. You could not trade from the Game Boy Color to the Game Boy Advance game.
Yeah. Anyways.
People are stupid.
People convince themselves that whatever they do is the truth, and if you tell them that they're wrong, it's basically like their only response is, "No, I'm right, you're wrong." All right.
It's always fun to put someone like that in their place.
Anyways, so there's also a new battle mode in the Isle of Armor, where it's restricted. So it restricts you on what you can use, on what Pokemon you can use. I think from what I understood, it was like what types you can use, what attacks you can use, or maybe it's just what Pokemon you can use. So maybe it'll be like, oh well, you can only use not fully evolved Pokemon in these battles. So, but there's apparently it says on Celebi the dojo contains restricted sparring, provides specific battles that restrict the Pokemon that you can use in various new conditions. So maybe it is that. Maybe it's you can only use like Pokemon of the Psychic type, and then every Pokemon is a Dark type. So you have to like work around that.
Yeah, it possibly, yeah. But speaking of battle types, though, when's the DLC that allows us to do Wi-Fi inverse battles, triple in rotation?
Never. And now we're gonna go into the Crown Tundra. That what it adds, and it adds basically my favorite thing ever that they're ever gonna add in a Pokemon game, and it's co-op mode. And I know that they added a sort of co-op mode in Let's Go, where you could play, you can pass the other Joy-Con or the other Pokeball Plus to your friend who's sitting beside you, and you guys can play. But that was like stupid limited. Like the first player could do anything that they wanted, like a regular.
And then the second player was only really there in battles.
Yeah, the second player was only there in battles and to catch Pokemon. They couldn't interact with anything. If they walked into a Pokemon, the Pokemon would jump over them. They couldn't go through doors. They literally couldn't do anything. It was all up to the main player. So it was like, oh, I'm gonna play with my kid. I'm gonna give him the second controller so he can like help me catch Pokemon and whatever. But I'm the main player, so it's like I make all the decisions. Which, like, if you're introducing your kid to Pokemon, it's like the best thing ever, because he or she can't like fuck up the game for you. Like before, it was like, all right, well, you can play. I'll be here beside you, and I'll be like, like telling you what to do or like giving you advice. But like this time, it's like you can do the fun parts of this game, which is catch Pokemon with me and battle with me. Everything else is me. But they're bringing in co-op because in max raid battles we can only see part of the den, but the den is more expansive. So the co-op is that we can link up with friends in the game and explore these dens together, and at the end of the den there's a legendary Pokemon from a past gen.
That's gonna be fun. Like, I don't think we're ever gonna get a full-on co-op story mode, but I'm glad that they're adding more co-op features to the games as the series evolves.
Yeah, no, but I just, because it's kind of like, the way I view it is kind of like Mystery Dungeon.
Yeah.
It's like Mystery Dungeon and the Underground in Sinnoh, where you could like build a base and set traps, but you're not building a base or anything. You're just going through the caves, and then at the end you all get this prize of this max raid battle with a legendary Pokemon that you all have a chance to catch.
So, yeah, if there's like traps and wild encounters in these dens, we're going to be doing these with V, and me and you are going to get to the legendary, and we're going to have to wait like 10 minutes for V to get down to the end of the tunnel.
Honestly, if there was, if there is wild encounters in the dens, which I don't see why there wouldn't be, I'm hoping that they're all max raid battles. So like let's say, let's say I host it. If it works like that, it probably will. Like, let's say I host it and then you join. Like, we're all running around in the cave together, but like the only person that can get random encounters is me. So whenever I run into a random encounter, all of us are in a max raid battle against that Pokemon.
Ugh.
So like
better
you like, it's not scripted. Like, you could use a repel, and are repels in the game? I haven't seen them.
I'm pretty sure they are, but I never use them, so I haven't looked for them. But you know what? Better yet, and I'm being completely sarcastic with this, I don't mean it at all, but in the dens, all the wild Pokemon are totem Pokemon.
That's basically what they are. Basically what max raid battles are.
Yeah, but I'm talking about like how they were in Sun and Moon with the aura that just boosts their stats, but it's still a regular battle.
Yeah.
No, we're gonna just sit there and we're gonna have to wait for V to make his way through the cave. Like, he's gonna get lost every time.
And then he's gonna tell you, like, he's gonna be like, whatever, man, it's for fun, man, we're having fun. But everyone plays games differently.
Okay, you know what? I hate to throw shade at V, but when we were doing our co-op versus, and we were in the Eterna Forest, and he was doing each of the double battles as single battles because he didn't want to do double battles against the NPCs.
Yeah, but I didn't have to deal with that. You did, because he was your partner.
Yes, I know. Like, I hate to throw shade at him, but that was just so unnecessary.
And it took him twice the time it took us, but that's the way he wanted to play.
Yeah.
Alright, is there anything else that we haven't talked about in this? Talked about the Gigantamax forms, returning Pokemon. We talked about the Mystery Dungeon game.
When the DLCs come out, for those of you that find it fun, new trainer customization items, including Team Flare glasses.
Yes, that is true. There will be over 100 new customization options added, including if you're the female character, you can dress up in Marnie clothes and have Marnie hair. Professor Rose's attire is available for the male characters, as well as Team Flare glasses, like he said.
And I think there was a Ghetsis mask shown in the trailer or something like that, some sort of half mask.
Yes, there was. I would honestly love it if they brought back like,
if we can get like evil team uniforms like in Let's Go.
Yeah, if they brought back all of them, you could dress up as Team Rocket if you want to.
Man, if I could walk around in a Team Magma uniform, that would be great.
Dude, I'd walk around in because there is a suit. You can dress up as Rose if you could dress up as like not only the grunts but like the like you could walk around like you could get like fucking
like the admin clothes.
yeah, like you could like walk around with like Lysander hair.
Dude, that would be amazing.
That would be I would rock that hairstyle in the game. Not in real life because I don't have enough hair for that and I'm losing my hair. But like,
okay, now imagine if like they get set up to where the DLC customization stuff, if you can get it as early as the beginning of the game, imagine going through the whole game dressed as Lysander.
dude, I'd restart the game.
I know, right?
I would transfer all my mons. I'd make sure that any the competitive items that I want to keep, like my flame orb, would be in my sword version, and I'd restart the game and I'd just play through. Like, I would just restart the game and play through it again.
Like, I'm excited for the new clothing options. Like, I don't. The little cosmetic things like that can really make a game, and I love when games let you customize your character completely.
Yes. Which is why I think it's stupid when people don't customize their characters. Like, how are you getting the full experience of the game if you're Mr. Mr. Default the entire way through? Like, the whole reason for customization is that you could not make the main character you, but like, this is the biggest reason why when they released Oras and there was no customization, I was like that. I really hated that because not because it was a new thing that they removed and it's like, oh, Game Freak has a history of removing features. No, it was because you would do online battles and it would just be everybody would be generic Brendan.
Yeah, like
at least have like a different, like you could change the color of your clothes. That would have been enough.
I mean that was like a different game franchise, but because of how much you could change your character, that's one of the reasons why San Andreas is my favorite Grand Theft Auto.
I mean, you could change your character in every GTA. Well, not starting from San Andreas, you can change your character.
Yeah.
In all the ones. Change your hairstyle, change clothes, tattoo.
Yeah, but San Andreas had the best selection, in my opinion.
Yeah, but I'll never understand people who don't customize their character. And on that subject, Vrage does have a point. Let people play games how they want to play games, but at the same time, it's like you're not experiencing the game to the fullest extent. I get that everyone plays games differently and whatever, and people might not be interested in customization, but because it's in the game and because you're not using it, you cannot say to anyone that you've experienced everything the game has to offer because you haven't. Because your character is Mr. Default.
I also hope that, like, it wasn't said they were going to do it, but I kind of hope they add new league card poses and backgrounds in the DLC.
They probably will. But mine's the best that there will ever be, so...
What are you talking about? This isn't Gen 6 and 7 where your picture's just the back of your head for no reason.
Have you seen my league card? Hold on.
I saw the one that you used during our Let's Play. I don't know if you've changed it since then.
I have. Let me go find it. I'm not gonna show this on the videos. So.
Yeah. Well, while you're finding that, I gotta find the image I found the other day of what would have been Squirtle's final form, and I'm kind of mad we didn't get it.
The bigger war turtle.
Yes.
There was also a smaller Blastoise that was supposed to be.
I'm so mad. Like, seeing that now, I'm so mad Blastoise is what we got, because War Turtle's design is honestly the best part of that line to me.
That's my new card. It looks like it looks like I'm falling into fire.
Yeah, it does. Action movie trailer shot right there.
I figured it was time to stop the back of the head shots and be creative.
I gotta say, after finishing playing through the game and looking at my character more, I just made my character Emo Faulkner.
Yeah, well, that's pretty much what you are.
I'm not an emo Faulkner. I don't believe in my dad's bird Pokemon that much.
Alright, now because I don't want people asking themselves like what the fuck, I'm gonna show the picture real quick on the video.
Alright.
Even though this is supposed to be a podcast type video, which means there's no visual aspect to it.
I mean, one image isn't going to hurt.
You know, because we're pretty much done. So as like a little like send off point, I'm going to show everybody my trainer card, or my league card, whatever it's called. Where is it? Where is it? Oh, I'm in the wrong folder. Here it is. This is my league card. It looks like I'm falling into fire. Thank you very much.
But yeah, so that's pretty much all our thoughts on all this stuff, and
Yeah, it's the entire point of this video that's been going on for 2 hours and 5 minutes was just give our opinions on certain stuff, throw extreme shade on people who complain, and
you know what? They won't see it, but in the video right now, I'm going to mention that I'm sending you this really cool Star Wars date costume that I would totally do if I had someone willing to agree with.
A female stormtrooper. All right. But with that, we're gonna let you guys go. Thank you guys. If you've made it to this video, to the end of this video, then that means you like our content. So why don't you subscribe, like this video, and share it with a friend.
And if you agree or disagree with anything we said, whether it's our opinions on how people act, or opinions on the DLC, or anything else that we talked about that I can't remember right now, let us know your differing opinion or why you agree with us.
And if we've missed anything that you've seen, let us know, because we talked about everything that we saw and everything that Cerebi has on the website. So if there's something that we haven't seen that you saw in the trailers, let us know. And with that, we're gonna see you guys in the next video.
Catch you on the flip side.
Peace.